This is Paul Leon from Leon Solutions, and you're listening to the Persistence Mastery Podcast, the show that elevates communication skills for people who love conquering their career. Welcome to this episode on integrity. I was sitting with someone who was showing me a leadership placemat, and they had integrity on it. And the bullet points were somewhere between 9 to 12 bullet points. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think that's great. I think if you have a robust, major thought process that goes into your integrity, I respect that. I like that. And I appreciate the time you put into that. But I like to take complex ideas and keep it simplified. I like to keep things plain. You know why? When clarity is high, buy-in is high. When confusion is high, buy-in is low. So let me keep this simple for you. When I look at integrity, I look at it as two parts. That's how I look at integrity. Part number one, operational integrity. Part number two is moral integrity. That is how I look at this leadership principle. Let's talk about operational integrity. One of the things I do after I do training around the country, virtually, etc., is I like to follow up with the owners and dealers, and I leave voicemails to simply just call them. And you know why I do that? Because in the training, especially when I speak on a subject matter as critical as selling skills, is you don't just go into a training room and just talk about it. You got to be about it. See, my degree in organizational behavior, leadership practice and principles, one of the thing I saw as I went through the library research papers was there's a millions on content on leadership. But the most thing that stands out is just examples. So you got to be the example. That's what operational integrity means. So I call these people, I leave them a voicemail after I do this training. And I'll be honest with you guys, most people, about 30, we'll say 40%, don't call me back in a day or two. And it's not that they're bad people. It has nothing to do with that. It's that they're busy. But it's not about what they do, it's about what I do. And I'm okay. I'm okay if they don't pick up the phone. It doesn't hurt my feelings if they reject me because it's really not rejection, it's just an event. There's no real such thing as rejection. It's just an event that we learn from. Fast forward, my first year, I remember when I was speaking on sales, when I was really breaking into the industry of corporate training, I went to an annual conference. And I remember so many people, more than 10 to 20, would walk by the hall who had seen me through a computer and said, follow up, follow up, follow up. I got your voicemail, Paul. I appreciate you leaving that message. I never called you back, though. And I said, it's not a problem. Say that with me. It's not a problem. You want to make life easier? Just say not a problem. Because that's what operational integrity is you do what you say you're going to do, and you're the example of it. That's operational integrity, plain and simple. And at the end of this podcast episode, I'm going to I'm going to give you a call to action that when you implement it, it's going to make you very, very invaluable. So let's talk about moral integrity. So we talked about operational integrity, but what is moral integrity? You might be asking yourself. Going back to the fact that I do follow-up calls. I was speaking in another part of the country, in the Georgia area, and I remember one business owner sent 7 of his guys to my training that I was facilitating. And I had a chance to do a follow-up call. And I remember I got him on the phone. And I said, hey, just wanted to check in with you and your team. You had a great group of people. Just wanted to see how they received the content, the training, etc. And he said, Paul, they were great. They really, really valued it. They were like kids in a school again. He's like, they learned this. I appreciate what you do. And I really enjoy those calls. And one of the benefits of those calls is sometimes you get a moment where you get to hear someone's story. You get to go on that tangent. And some people don't enjoy that, but I actually welcome it for most of the time. And I remember we spent an additional about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, not long, just going on about his story and how he's a very successful business, millions of dollars, and all this stuff. And I asked him, I said, you seem very successful, and I want to learn a lot from you just in this 10-minute call. What do you think the difference maker is between those who kind of win when they come into your company and those who don't? Especially, let's just take a plain subject of sales, customer service, etc. He said, you know what the difference between those who win and don't, Paul, in my 20 years and doing what I do? If you're selling, if you're working in customer service, and you don't have the intent of what's best for the customer and you don't really care about them on another level or a deeper level for your that comes out in your actions. I tell all my guys you have to care about the customer and intend what's best for them or you're not gonna make it. That, my friends, is moral integrity. That, my friends, is what the definition really is. And yeah, you could go on and on. You could read, the servant leadership. You could read John C. Maxwell content and on and on. And I'm not telling you not to. I have read those books. There's a lot of great information and nuggets. But as we go into ending this year into the next one and we think about our goals and we think about what we want to achieve and we think about what's best for our household or career or whatever you want to center it around, just don't forget this call to action I want to leave you with. As you write your goals, as you work on your goals, ask yourself this: in 2024, how am I going to line up my operational integrity and my moral integrity together? Plain and simple. How are you going to align your operational integrity and your moral integrity together? Because here's why that's invaluable. When you're able to do that, when you're able to put your action, your whole self into the foundation of aligning those two areas of integrity, that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you stand out. That's what makes you different. Even when no one's looking, that's what still makes you unique without the approval of another person. You can approve of yourself. And as I speak to you, I'm really speaking mostly to myself, but I'm confident that if you're listening to this, you can honestly say we're aligned. I'm confident that as you apply this call to action of lining up your operational integrity and moral integrity together, you and I are going to win and become more invaluable.